Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Double D Life Chat. Hello. How's it?
Hello, hello, everybody. Hello.
How's everyone doing today? I don't see us up on YouTube yet. I'm sure we'll be there in a minute. There we go. It's popping up.
Okay.
There we go. So,
Hello.
hello. Hello, everyone. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. It's my Friday. I don't have to work tomorrow. I'm off the rest of the weekend. So I'm happy for that.
And I get to hang out with my friend today.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Just say it. Like you don't see me 20 times a day anyway. Well, he's like, meh, yeah. So, how's everybody doing today in the chat? Let's say hi to people. Hey, LaDonna. Hey, the Vintage Equation Gosha. Hey, Sheila. So, how's everybody doing, y'all? How's everybody doing? We're gonna have to wait for some more people to come in. Today, I'm gonna be very honest. It's gonna be light and fluffy, y'all. It's gonna be a light and fluffy chat today. Honestly. It's just I think that we just all kind of let's have a break and talk about something, silly. So, well, it's not silly, but I mean I think it's silly, but you know, it's gonna be fun. And so Daniel has the weather where you are because we always have to talk about the weather.
The weather is getting hot again, so we're not happy,
Oh.
but it is what it is. We did have two very, very wonderful, glorious days. I mean, it's sunny and stuff, but she's hot again.
Is it so
Yeah,
it's hot, yeah. What's the
like
temperature?
90s.
Oof, no, you keep it.
Right now, according to my computer, it's 88 degrees.
Okay, at 1 o'clock. Well,
So
that's not.
I think we're supposed to be 92 today, something like that.
Oh
And the
no.
humidity's starting to creep back up too. So that's
Yeah, oh yeah, that's always off.
whatever. I'm
I
okay. I'm okay. Everything is fine. Life is dandy. Life is happy.
So, it's raining here currently and cool. God, I'm glad it's raining because it gets so dry when it gets like because our grass is like, oh, what the heck? And yeah, we had 3 weeks of sun and then it started to rain. Thankfully, because the grass is starting to get brown and all the things, and so finally it's rained. It's cooler because, like I said, we don't have air conditioning. we don't have that stuff. So I'm glad for the cool. I like the rain. I like the rainy weather. That's why I'm
I'm
going to.
going to, whether I do or not, because I'm coming over there.
That's right. That's right. So anyway, so that's how we're doing. Is everybody okay in the chat? Are you guys weathering the heat, or is it cooled off, or is it just getting hotter? Because it's I don't. I'm not a fan of the
It's
heat.
very dry too. We're getting into
Yeah.
a sort of a what do you call it? Drought.
Well, yeah.
I mean, we had some rain when the cool weather came in, but it wasn't like a whole lot in this area. Oh, in my part.
Right.
I mean, even in the state, we get different amounts of stuff. So we're pretty dry. So that is the upside, is that I don't have to mow as often.
Yeah, because once it rains, it'll just sprout right up, won't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we don't want no rain, child. I mean, we want rain. We just don't want to cut the grass because that's what'll happen here.
Yeah.
It'll because they say there's supposed to be like a heat wave coming next week or the week after, and I'm like,
That's why when I moved to England,
yeah.
it's going to be out in the middle of the country, and I'm going to find some sheep herder that's going to let me live amongst the sheep so they can keep the yard eaten. So,
So, okay. Yeah. Hey, wolves. So yeah, so we're just, hopefully it won't get too hot again, but I predict it will. It's just kind of what's happening these days. But anyway, we're not here to talk about the weather, even as much as we all love to discuss it. So today, what I wanted to talk about today was well, this is just my opinion. I'm not an expert, but I feel like I kind of know a little bit because I've lived here for 22 years. So the differences between British and American culture, and some things that people like, I think a lot of times Americans, I'm American, so I'm not a lot of times people who don't live here have certain concepts about it. Do you know what I mean? So I just think maybe I was going to debunk some of those, or maybe say yes, they're true, or no, I've never heard of that. Because I was looking at different, like, hybrid and wolves. I was looking at different things, and it was these certain things that Americans think about the UK, or people who live in the UK. Some of I'd never heard of. I was like, oh, huh. So I don't know if you'd heard of them, or it's just something people think that we do over here, or the things we do. So yeah. So so we want to get started, and do you have any questions, Daniel? And if you have questions in it, if you want to ask a question about it, go ahead and ask, because I don't mind answering them.
How do I get over there? How do I stay over there?
Well, now we discussed this. So I have to win the lottery first. I told you this.
Yeah.
I could be a sponsor. So, and I could build you a bigger shed.
There we go.
There you go. So I think I'm just going to kind of hit it. Okay, so there's a couple of things that are true. That I'll start off with this, and Gosha might agree because she lives in Edinburgh. So I wonder if she's been a witness to this. So here's one thing: British people are judged on which grocery store they go to. Absolutely. Hey, Kim Z. So, for instance, and I'll give it to you. That would be in order. So, if you're super posh, you go to Waitrose or Marks and Spencer's. If you're just normal, like regular everyday, at Sainsbury or Tesco, and so then you're going. This is the highest and lowest, not in any particular order, except that if you're expensive, if you're like posh or wealthy, you'd go to these stores. So it'd be Waitrose, Marks and Spencer. And then your middle ground would be Sainsbury and Tesco, and then you go Asda, Aldi, and Lidl. So
no rich people go to Aldi?
No. In order, they go to. Well, they probably do. I think that used to be a thing where people go, oh, you go to Aldi or Lidl. Now the way things are, they're like, honey, I go to Aldi and Lidl. I'm happy. I'm proud. But it used to be, and this was like years ago when I first moved here, where people would be like, oh, you go to Marks and Spencer's and Waitrose, posh. Do you know what I mean? And it is quite an expensive. They are expensive, more expensive stores. I would say I would compare them to maybe, I don't know, like if you got all your groceries at Target or something, or or a flagship store. If you had like a flagship Randall's or a flagship Kroger, which is like the fancier ones. That's what I would equate Waitrose and.
We have like County Market here, and it's a lot more expensive than the others. And then the old IGAs. The IGAs are always more expensive, whichever ones are left. But that's what we used to have, and they're a lot more expensive than Aldi.
Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. The items you get at Waitrose and Marks and Spencer's are absolutely amazing, but a lot of things are just as good at Aldi. In fact, I like Aldi because they tend to have a lot more not like more European and more different stuff than you find at your regular grocery store, or you find at, the Tesco or the Sainsbury's. Tesco seems to have a lot of the same brands. They occasionally change them up, but you go to Aldi and every week it's something different. It's so good.
So, do they just sit around watching for you to come home to see what grocery bags you're carrying in? Or do they stand outside the doors taking down people's names?
it's more like a conversational thing. Like you're like, oh, I need a nip to the supermarket, and they're like, oh, which one? Oh, Waitrose, and they're like, oh, well, look at you, Papa. And they will actually say that. Oh, well, Waitrose, huh? Okay, someone's got too much money. You know what I mean? They will definitely say that's totally true. It's not to judge food so much, Wolves. I know what you're saying, yeah, but I think it's more like it's. I don't think it's that common now, but it used to be like, oh, and it was more like you were kind of taking the piss out of people who went to Waitrose. You weren't taking the piss out of people who were shopping at the lower end. You were taking the piss out of people shopping at the higher end because you're like, oh, look at you, all posh and fancy going to the Waitrose and the Marks and Spencers. You know? And I remember when I first got here, they were like, where do you go? You know, like you would hear them talk about it at work or whatever. And someone would go, oh, I had to go nip to Waitrose. And they'd walk off and everybody else would be like, oh, must be nice. Well, you know, like that. But it cracks me up. Yeah, like skin like a Whole Foods. That would be like very expensive. And you're like, who the heck's going into, you know, you may pop in, like I may pop into Waitrose if I'm like, if it's in the town center and I just need to get a drink or something. It's the closest thing to me. But I wouldn't do a shop there. No. So see, even Gosha says she goes to Waitrose sometimes to pretend that she posh. Mm-hmm. See, she know. Sheila says we have Aldi and Little here. Yeah, I think Whole Foods is pricey. I mean, I'm sure they're good, organic, and you know all the things. But you know, if you look in Aldi and Little, they have organic food as well. So that was one thing. I just thought that was funny because I've never seen that happen like in the U.S. Do you know what I mean? You don't really be judging folk on which grocery store they go to. Here they will. They'll slam you. They'll drag you for it. So that was funny. Then also, another thing that was one of these things that I saw was if you don't ask your colleagues for a cup of tea, like if you don't ask, like let's say you're at work and you don't ask, you know, like when you go make yourself a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, and you don't ask them, you get the stink eye. They'll be like mad at you. Not really. I mean, I don't drink tea or coffee, so I don't be offering nobody nothing. But they know that I don't drink it, so they're not going to expect me to ask them because I'm not making it for myself. So, but I think it is a thing where, especially if everybody drinks tea or coffee. Now I don't experience that because I don't drink either one. Thank you, Sheila. I don't drink either one, but when all the other workers are in the room, they'll be like, oh, you know, I'm going to turn the kettle on. You know, you want to make you one? They're like, yeah. And they're very good about it. But I think people, I don't think they'd get offended, though, if you didn't offer them one. At least the people I've been. Remember, these are just my experiences. Maybe there's people out there who get real angry because you didn't offer them a cup of tea. But I've never experienced it because I don't drink it.
You said this is at work?
Yeah, this is at work.
Well, over here, you ain't got time to do that. You're not going to make anybody else a cup of tea because you can only go in there on break time and you ain't got time to make a cup of tea. You got time to put your money in the slot to get a bag of potato chips and a Coke, and that's it.
Well, certain break rooms, like if you'll have more than one person. Yeah, I was called rude that I didn't offer the tea to the boiler repair guy. Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. If you have a service person come over, you know, a lot of people will offer them a cup of tea. You're like, oh, can I get you a cup of tea? You're not here for a break. You're here to work on my stuff. Well, you know, I can offer you a cup of tea. Don't get mad at me. There's a Waitrose. You go get you some.
So I'm going to be considered a loud, rude American.
No.
I'm not used to offering people anything.
Right. Since I don't drink tea or coffee, I don't think about it because I don't drink either one. So, I mean, I have drank tea in the past, and I will make it like if it's just I'm here by myself or something. But I don't usually offer it to a group of people at work or to a stranger who comes into my house to fix something. I might offer him a bottle of water. Now that I'll just, you want some water? Because I got to, you know. But because I don't drink tea or coffee, I'm not going to offer it to you. But
So like the boiler guy said, well, that was rude. You didn't offer me any tea. Do they come out and say it to you?
I guess he must have. I think I'd like them to try that with me because I'd be like, well, you are being paid to be here. Hey, Miss Pamela. Um, yeah. So, I mean, I think that, and I don't think that happens as much now, obviously, since COVID. You know that, but I've been at people's houses where someone's come over to do something like totally repairman or whatever, and they go, "Oh, you want a cup of tea?" I'm like, because well, I mean, Dave does it to if someone comes over to fix something, he'll offer them one if he's here, and I'm like, I'm not doing that.
That's gonna have to be something I'll have to get used to.
And again, I don't drink it. Maybe I am considered rude. Maybe behind my back they're like, they're rude American over there now, but I don't drink it, so I'm not going. It's not the first thing my mind goes to.
I just thought of something.
What?
Do they have Mountain Dew over there?
Yeah, I believe you'd have. I think they do. I don't drink that either.
So I could do that. Would you like a glass of Mountain Dew?
Yeah, looks like a glass, a nice tall glass of Mountain Dew.
Some sweet tea. I don't do that hot stuff. I got some sweet tea though.
So here's another thing that people ask, like, do you get loads of vacation? Is that true? We get 5 weeks a year of paid vacation. Yeah. In fact, I saw that, and me and my coworker, they kind of added it up. We were like, yeah, I guess we do.
So is this something like if I would get a job over there, I would get that immediately, or is this a work up to?
Well, now here's the thing. It depends on where you work, because unfortunately here we have something called zero contract hours, where you only get paid by what you work. And it's hard to get a holiday through that. And it's usually, a lot of times it's part-time, and there are some full-time jobs, but it's called zero contract hours. So let's say I'm contracted to work 40, and if I get sick and only work 38, or work, 36, I will still get paid because I have sick pay. With zero contract hours, it's like you just don't get paid, which I think is wrong here. I think it's a horrible idea. I think they should never.
We're used to that over here. I mean, that's every part-time job in most every place is now replaced people with part-time people because they don't have to pay any benefits whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, you run through employees quickly. I think you have a high rate of turnover when you have that kind of contract. And I've seen it. I've seen, like, you see people who work at these jobs. They say, well, I can leave because I don't have to give you notice, and I also don't have to. You only work what you give me to work. So I just don't think it's a good idea. It really it only came in when did it come in? It didn't come in that long ago, but I think it's a horrible idea, honestly, because what's the point of having a high turnover of employees when even if the job is not skilled, you still don't want to have to worry about finding new employees all the time. It's just not, to me, it's not good for business. Personally, it's what I think. So I just think it's a bad idea. So we do get up to 5 weeks holiday. If you came over, let's say worked where I worked, you would get a statutory, I think, 20 days, and then you would work up. Remember, we have a lot of bank holidays. You would get a week's holiday for a shutdown, which is paid because we shut down for a week, it's like our repair time. So we shut down for a week in the summer. You get paid for that.
But that's just where you work. Like service industries and stuff like that are not going to shut down.
No. If you have a contract in the service industry, that's you can get holidays and stuff. But if you have work at a place that has zero contract hours, you may not get that. So, I mean, that's the thing. So we do get 5 weeks. It depends on where you work, honestly. It used to be better until they brought the zero contract hours in. Obviously, my company doesn't do that. But, because it's kind of like a skill. You have to have some, you either taught the skill or you come in knowing that skill. So it's a little different with that situation. So the roads and the cars are smaller. True. True. They are.
Plus you drive on the wrong side of the road.
We drive on the left side of the road. Yes. And here's the thing. Here's the funny thing about driver's license over here. So, for instance, I drive an automobile. That's a separate license than a regular license. So, a regular license, you can drive automatic, manual, or stick shift, like that. But an automatic license, you can only drive an automatic. But that's all I know how to drive, so I don't really care. But so because when I first moved over here, automatic cars were few and far between. When I didn't drive for the first 5 years I lived here, and then I was like, I really need a driver's license, so I took a bunch of lessons, and it was scary, especially the roundabouts, which was scary. And I passed first time, and it is also the hardest test in the world to pass. The UK driving test is one of the hardest ones in the world. I'm not just saying that; it actually is.
So then I will be taking lots of public transportation and walking places.
That, or you would take a lot of lessons, and they cost, though. Each lesson costs. So, but public transport where I live is great. I mean, it's everywhere.
I just can't imagine trying to get out of the mindset of the way I've been driving for 54 years.
Correct. Right.
And then switching to a complete different, where you would be screaming all the time thinking cars are coming at you.
No, you get used to it. You do. Like, I drove for 35 years on, the American way. And then, because remember, I lived here for 5 years before I got my driver's license. So I finally said, I really should get it. It would be a shame not to get it. And I took loads, ridiculous amount of lessons. And even when the guy said, I think you're ready, I was like, no, I'll tell you when I'm ready. And I'm not. So I eventually took the test and passed first time. And here's the thing here. It's no big deal if you don't pass it the first time. Like, some people take 2 and 3 times before they pass it. So it's quite intense.
Is it written and driven?
Yes. The written part I don't think was that hard. It was the driving part. Do you know what I mean? It was the driving part where, and the part about the driving, I would be driving on StreamYard. Yes, exactly. So, and once you realize that I took my lessons and it was absolutely fine. And the first time I went in the car, he goes, you're doing real good. I was like, oh, thank you. Driving along. It's only one problem. I said, what? He's like, you're on the wrong side of the road. I was like, oh. But the thing is, when you start to drive, you know that, the car, what side you should be on when the cars come,
I'd be really good with that because I tend to go down the wrong way when I'm in bigger cities. Don't I, Bree?
Oh, we have stories. Yeah, that's in America.
Just say.
But so that's a funny thing. It's just the cars are small and the roads and the little roads, like the little tiny country roads. Oh my God. I always clench when a car has to pass me. And I'm like over here, and I mean these are country roads. These are with bushes, like hedges. And I'm like, I've got nowhere to go. You just slow right down and it's just like.
So let me ask you this.
You can feel the car next to you.
So since you are an island, are car prices higher?
Well, I think they're high everywhere right now because they're not being produced as much as they had been because of, the Bridget, the difficulty making them because of the microchips and all that or whatever, the chips. But here's the thing, recently used cars have gone sky high, which is bizarre because, well, it's not bizarre, but because right now, they're trying to move over to electric and they're so expensive. Hey, Krista. They're so expensive to buy an electric car or even lease one. It's just ridiculous. They're going to have to come down the prices if they want everybody to, drive them. It's just ridiculous.
So is it, I don't even know if you know this or not. Is it cheaper to do public transportation or own a vehicle in the UK?
Well, I think, here's the first thing. I think one that depends on age. Because if you're a pensioner, which I think is 60 and over, you get a discount at a bus, bus pass. I think you get it for free if I'm not mistaken. But you have to consider how much you use public transport, how far you're going. If you get you could probably get some kind of bus pass deal, like where you buy it for a year and then you get a better rate. Because remember, when you drive a car, you have to pay for the car, you have to pay for the insurance, you have to pay for the gas, you have to pay for the upkeep. So I'm going to say public transport's probably somewhat cheaper.
Now, let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Coming from the great ununited states and how you have to watch yourself, public transportation, is it safe? Is it not?
I've never had an issue on public transportation. Now, like I said, the first 5 years I lived somewhere else. I lived down in Suffolk, which is down south, closer towards London than I do now. Here, I live in the middle of the country. Even then, I didn't find any issues. I never had any issues on public transport. I mean, here's the thing: I didn't take it late at night. I always, took it. Well, when I lived in Suffolk, it stopped running at 6 p.m., so you really couldn't take it late at night. Here, it does run late. So here, I've never had I've never had an issue. Sometimes you get inebriated people or people, on other things on them, but they're generally they don't really mess with you. Plus, the bus driver's we'll put them right off the bus. They're not playing. Bus drivers ain't gonna play. They'll get off the bus to that person who's, they're pretty. I think they're pretty. I mean, I've gone to Chesterfield from here on a bus, even though I could drive. I just thought it'd be fun to do that, and I did. But
so is it more walkable over there than it is here?
Yeah.
Right now, if I had to go get groceries without a car, I would have to walk a mile and a half one way to just go get groceries and then haul them all back home.
Oh no, you could. Tesco's is probably 5 minutes away. Same as Aldi, maybe 5 or 6 minutes away from here. It's easy to walk to.
I mean, I think, I don't know because I don't live over there, but Europe tends to be more walker friendly and more.
Right. It's more concentrated. Like if you live in a town or because what I live in is a town, a small town, granted, but it's a town. And obviously it's different than a village, which is really small. So I live in a town, and you could walk into the center of town and less than 10 minutes, depending on how fast you walk. Or I can cut through the park and get there quicker. Do you know what I mean? So I have walked to the store before. I'm like, hey, I'm just going to walk to the store today. And I'll just go.
I'm filing all this stuff away.
Right.
I'm filing all this stuff away. I'm preparing myself for the move.
You can always have your little shopping trolley with you and put your groceries in and carry it back, So
do they have the 3-wheeled bicycles over there like they do here?
I'm sure they do. I'm sure you can get them. I haven't seen them. We have trikes, but they're motorcycles.
Well, this is just a 3-wheel,
front
wheel, then your 2-wheel and a basket along the back.
Oh yeah, they have them here.
That's what I do.
Yeah, like Gosha says, nothing's ever happened to her on public transport. She, and in cities it's better. They're well connected. You get even though we live in a small town, we live by Chesterfield, and there's buses going. I swear, every 10 minutes you can get Chesterfield and back. You know what I mean? There's a bus coming every 10 minutes. Hey, Deborah. Yeah, and the vintage equation, they have pavements everywhere, sidewalks. There's sidewalks everywhere. Yeah. So, hey, Kathy. So that was since we're talking about going to the grocery store and buying your groceries, you have to take your own bags to the grocery store. Now, you can buy bags there, but they're 5p a bag. So it used to be when you go to Walmart and they put the bags on the big carousel and spin it around. That does not happen here. You can buy bags here, like plastic bags, or a bag, what we call it. But it's better to buy a bag for life for 10 to 50p. You know what I mean? Because you can always carry it with you. But you're not going to. They're not going to put your bags.
Well, I'm used to that because I shop at Aldi.
Right.
And that's where the vast majority of my stuff comes from. So
yeah.
That wouldn't bother me a bit. And plus, I get very aggravated because you go to Walmart and those people put like one or two items
I
in the
know.
bag, and it's like stuff the dang bag full.
Yeah.
I don't care. Quit giving me 50,000 plastic bags.
So you like here, like you could go and not take your bags and buy. Let's say you had to buy, 5 bags. That's, you know, 20p. But that's just the idea, or 25p. But the idea is like, I'm not paying for a bag. That's it. That is so British. Excuse me? No. So the problem is when they first brought it in, we would always forget to take our bags. It's like, oh, I forgot to take our bags. Do you know what I mean? Now we're like, there's bags in the car. And when we bring our groceries in and unload them, and then we automatically just put the bags back in the car because that way I'm not paying 5p for a bag.
Yeah.
Which is not a lot of money, but the whole point was to reduce plastic. And you can get some cute shopping bags here. I've got some with kitties on it and more kitties and puppies and little butterflies. So you go to the dollar store, or sorry, the pound store, and they have bags there. You get really cute, like we call them bags for life. And I have loads of, God, they're everywhere, honestly. But we just put them on our cars after we, make sure we always have bags. So that is true. You have to carry your own bags. And no one bags our groceries. That's not a thing. There's no sacker person or bagger boy or girl at the end of the checkout to bag. You have to bag your own groceries. Like Aldi.
So is it like Aldi where they throw it back in the cart, or is it like
No.
where you have to go down?
Yeah. Okay. So what you do is like in Aldi, the same here in Aldi, you put the cart, turn the cart around, and they put it back in the
Okay.
cart, right? And then you can go over to the side and bag it yourself if you want.
Because there used to be a store where you had to bag your own stuff, but it was a conveyor belt. And then it had the end where they used to bag stuff for you.
Yeah,
You would have to go down there and try to bag that while they were checking out somebody else behind you.
What happens at Tesco. That's exactly what happens at most stores.
Put it back in the cart and let me go over somewhere else and bag it instead of.
Aldi's built for that.
Yeah.
To put it back in the cart. Where like Tesco, Sainsbury's, all the others are. I think there's space at the end, like when they come off the conveyor belt where you just pack it yourself and put it, yeah, there's no. Now, occasionally the Boy Scouts will be there and to help raise money or to do a good deed. They'll have other Boy Scouts there packing the groceries. That's few and far between. That hardly ever happens. That's only happens twice.
Move it. I ain't paying you nothing. Get out of the way. I will bag my own. Go find somebody who's generous with you. I'm not that kind. I am mean.
Yeah. And it's good that there's a couple of states that do that now. I know for sure New Hampshire does it, where you have to bring your own bags or you have to buy a bag. And
I have no problem with that.
Deborah said, yeah, I don't, if you want a bag, it's 10 cents a bag. Yeah. So yeah, there's plenty, but that's, I think it's good because you're not using all those plastics. I mean, the thing was we used to use the little bags, like you put them in, you use them in your bathroom to put them in your bathroom trash can. Now I have to actually buy bathroom trash can bags. And here's the thing. Also, when you greet people, like let's say I walk up to somebody and you don't go, hi, how you doing? They say, you all right? Yeah, I say that to you a lot. You all right? And so it's not hi, how you doing? It's like, you all right? You all right? You're right. But when you get to a regional area like here, which is Chesterfield, it sounds like they're saying, are you all right? Like R-A-T-E. And they're like, you rate? And it says, and that's like, are you all right? I mean, I can't do the accent, but that's what it sounds like. It sounds like they're saying,
I'd be like, oh, about a 2. Thank you.
Hey, Christine. And a lot of them, here especially, like again, different areas have different dialect. So here they'll be like, you all right, Duck? And Duck is just a name. Doesn't matter. Oh, it's 20p now? Ooh, it's 20p for a bag now. They gone up. So when you meet people, they'll say, you're a rate duck. And duck is just a term of endearment. It could be a man, a woman, a child. Everybody's a duck. And I don't know why they say it. I have no idea why they say that here. I have no idea what it means.
Be like, quack.
And the first time I was like, oh, yeah, good one. I was like, okay. But then I realized they were saying it to everybody. And I was like, okay. Oof. Thought maybe I looked like a waterfowl or something. Unclear. So that's quite interesting. So here's the other thing we don't have. And I've only I've only seen one, and that was back when I lived in Suffolk when I went to Colchester in Essex. Drive-through banks. Not a thing.
Do they have ATMs?
Yeah, they have ATMs, yeah. You just don't, they don't have the drive-through banks. I've only seen one since I've lived here. That was years ago. It's probably not even still there. Yeah, you either bank online or you have to go to the city center. Because what happened was there used to be, yeah, Pamela, someone over here calls you Ducky. Yeah, you're right, Ducky. Yeah, they must be from this part of the woods. So if you go to a bank, like they used to have banks here in the town, like in our little towns, like you had NatWest, Lloyd's TSB, all the other banks, they have closed a lot of branches, and you have to now go to bigger towns to go to the bank, take money out. Now there are ATMs everywhere. There's ATMs at the Tesco. There's ATMs on the corner. There's like bank ATMs in walls, but there's no actual physical bank to walk into unless you go like from here. You'd have to go to Chesterfield to go physically go to the bank. I bank online, so yeah.
So I'm assuming then all the places do direct deposit for payments instead of checks.
A lot of people do that. I haven't had a checkbook in over 10 years.
Well, I mean, where you work.
That's direct deposit. Yes, everybody's on direct deposit. There's no like here's your cash, here's your check. It goes straight to your bank account.
Because I'm like, if there's no banks in the town, then how are they giving you checks that you have to drive 30 miles to go cash?
I don't know. I haven't got a check. It's been deposited since for the last, I don't know, 15 years. It's gone into my bank account. I've never I can't remember the last time someone handed me a check and I had to go cash it. Oh, I do. UPS. But I work for them.
How do you get cash then?
You go to an ATM.
But here, if you don't use an ATM that is associated with your bank, you get charged by the bank that runs the ATM and also your bank.
No.
You get charged twice.
If you find, because there's different banks, obviously, like you guys have over there. So, for instance, my bank has an ATM here. Now, it's just a hole in the wall. It's not like a bank, but that's where the bank used to be. But they've closed that bank down, but there's an ATM there. No, you can go certain places, like you go to Tesco to get money out at their ATMs. There's no charge. You go to certain cash machines. There's no charge. Now, if you go to other banks, there's no charge. But if you go to certain machines, like if you go on the motorway, which is like the highway or the freeway or the highway, if you go and stop at the services, to get money out, that machine, because it may charge you just because they know you're desperate and they're going to, they know you need cash. So they're going to, but I try to avoid the ones that charge. And around here, none of them charge.
See, if you don't use your bank's ATM around here, you get double charged. You get charged by the bank that owns the ATM, and then you get charged by your bank for using that ATM.
No, now there at the airport that happens a lot. You get that, or you yeah. So, it's just we don't have it here. We don't. There are places that will charge you, but most people are kind of savvy, especially if you live in an area where those are, and you just don't use them. And usually in small towns or bigger towns, especially in bigger towns, there's always going to be your bank. Whether it's all the different banks, you'll be able to find a bank. But even here, if you go to Tesco, there's no charges for the ATMs there. You just go pull cash out. It doesn't matter what bank you are. It doesn't matter. You just pull it out. So That's it. Yeah, we don't really use. I'm sure some people still use checks here, but I haven't seen a check. I mean, like the last check I got um, was, like I said, UPS owed me. Hey, Pat, UPS had to refund me, and they asked me for all like, oh, what is we're gonna just direct deposit it to you. Next thing I know, I got a check. I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, so fortunately, I can go to the post office here, and they can deposit it into my bank. If I can put my bank card in, and I give them a check, they just transfer that amount into my bank account. I don't even have to go to my bank.
See, I still use checks because
Oh, you can do it there, yeah.
here local, a lot of the antique stores that have any type of sales going on only allow cash or check to get that discount. And I never have cash, but I have my check, so I'll give them a check to get the discounts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I still use them. I'm old fashioned.
Oh yeah.
So what else? What else?
Oh, sorry. I was reading the comments. I feel like I was reading the comments.
I
know. Yeah. Beth was saying they get all kinds of charges for ATMs. That's not. I mean, I'm not saying there's ATMs that won't charge you here. It's just that there's a lot that won't. So, and then Kathy says the manufacturing of recycled bags use way more water. True story, and last longer. Yep. Also, just a quick note on recycling bags. You can only recycle plastic so many times, and before you can't recycle it anymore. Hi, Aunt Marianne. Hi, Rebecca. Saw Beth come in. Hey. So another thing was, are there fast foods? They're like, you don't have many fast food restaurants, like American fast food restaurants. You only have McDonald's and KFC. I'm like, no, we have more than that. Not a lot more. We don't have Dairy Queen, which I would love. We don't have that over here. But we do have, and not that we should brag about having fast food because it's probably not the healthiest thing to eat. But we got far fast food too, child. We have
food is everywhere in every.
I know, yeah. Right down the street, they just built a McDonald's. So it's literally 5 minutes from my house in a car, 10 minutes if you walk. We have KFC. We have Taco Bell. We have Dunkin' Donuts. We have Five Guys. I think we had Chipotle for a while. So we do have fast food restaurants here. We also have our own, which are like a lot of them are kebab shops, like takeaways. What we call takeaway. I think y'all call it takeout. We call it takeaway, where you get like chicken kebabs or fish and chips. We have fish and chips. Yes, takeaway shops. Mm-hmm.
I see Pat's asking when I'm going to be moving. Well, when I can save the money up. There's a lot to, it's not just picking up and moving over there. There's a lot more to it. First thing I have to do is get my passport. I've never had a passport. I've never had to have a reason for a passport, but I do now. So I got to save up money for a passport first. And then I have to save up money because you have to prove you have savings to go over there. Not to visit. But if you're going to move over there, you have to have proof that you have money that you can support yourself, which is understandable. Yeah. But Daniel does not have that. So
I think you could be sponsored, right? Can you be sponsored?
I don't know. I haven't got that far because, once you get into the legal lingo of everything, I tend to drift off. I just want to know how, when, and where. That's all I need to know. Just tell me and let me go.
Yeah. I mean, if there's a way to do support. I mean, if I keep telling Daniel, I can still play the lottery, so when I win, I can just, So yeah, if you have, what did they say? If you don't live in access to a big city, you don't have access to a lot of our big institutions, are closing banks and post office. Yep. Yeah. A lot of our big institutions are closing banks in rural areas in the countryside, which makes it harder for people who don't drive or people who are dependent on public transport or don't have anyone to take them, even to the town. We do have one bank called Lloyd's TSB, which will have a bank truck come in every so often into this area. There's like a shopping center over like a little ways from here, and they'll go in the parking lot, and then people can go there to do their banking. But it's like, well, I mean, you could just let the bank there instead of having a big mobile truck come. You know what I mean? It's just, and a lot of older people like won't bank online, and you understand they don't. It's not something they've ever done. They may not be tech savvy. You can't you can't expect everybody to move to online banking or like again cashless society like we talked about before, because that's not what they do. They don't understand. They're not tech savvy. I'm not putting them down. I'm just saying that,
Mm-hmm.
or they don't trust it. That's another thing. Just I don't trust it. Someone's going to hack me. Because you hear all the stories about getting hacked, and they're like, well, why would I do that if I'm going to get hacked? So you can understand why people don't want to do it. So that's another thing. And
well,
also,
I'm very happy about the fast food because I need my fast food.
yeah, well, there's obviously like Gosha said, there's one called Greg's, and it's like a kind of a fast food bakery where you get like your sausage rolls and your little bakes, like your chicken bakes or your sauce. What are they called? Gosha? I can't remember the name of them. I don't know. Like pastry slices with like cheese and onion, or stuff like that, and donuts and coffees and little cakes and cookies. So Greg's is a big chain of that here in the UK. So it's like you can walk in, get your sausage roll and your donut and your coffee, and you can go. So, and they're actually all right. Although Scottish bakeries are better.
I'm gonna have to do a Google map of Clay Cross and zoom it out and find out where all my little restaurants are going to be.
Right, and we have there's like a lot of cafes here that you can go to, like independently owned cafes. There's, like I said, the kebab shops. You have Chinese takeaway. That's not far. That's pretty good. I mean, you know what I mean? So you have we have a pub called the Five Halts, which is really, really nice. It's kind of new. And they do really good food. So.
Well, I want to try some of the,
The English fare.
Yes, I want to try some of that squeak and bake and
bubble and squeak.
And, bangers and mashers and
which is whatever
else there is. I don't know.
Neeps and tatties. Yeah.
Fish and chips we will not be doing. Thank you very much.
No, I'm not a fish fan, but they do a sausage and chips, which is a deep fried sausage. Oh, it's delicious.
Oh, I might like that. That's kind of like a pronto pup.
I don't know what that is, but okay.
A pronto pup. A hot dog with cornmeal around it and deep fried.
A corn dog?
Yeah, pronto pup.
Okay, we call them corn dogs. But well, it's a different kind of batter. Like the batter they put on fish and chips. They use that type of batter to batter the sausage and deep fry. It's like yummy.
Okay, I could take that.
Good. So there's that, and there's also a thing like we don't have ice in our drinks. Like no one had. So originally, I would go to a restaurant and they wouldn't put ice in the drinks, and it would just be like a room temperature lemonade or room temperature 7-Up. But since I've lived here, it's changed. And here's the thing: you can always ask for ice. if you order your drink, like, because when you go to the pub, you order all your food at the bar, so and your drink, so you read your menu, then you go up to the bar and order it. And I always say, I'd like a large 7-Up with loads of ice, and they'll be like, more. I'm like, yep, that's good. So you can always ask for ice. Sometimes, a lot of times they don't. But at fast food restaurants, they come with ice. Like if you go to an American fast food restaurant, your drink's going to come with ice. Oh, I know, Deborah. I need my ice too. I have ice in my freezer. This cup has ice in it.
See, I don't. I would be used to that because, like, my tea, it's just cold from being in the refrigerator. I don't use ice. But, like, to get a fountain pop without ice, I can't imagine lukewarm pop.
Oh, they have waitresses. Yeah, Pat, they do. It's just the way pubs work. You would go up to the bar and order it, and then you'd go back to you tell them your table number, You'd be like, I'm at table 6, and then they go, okay, we'll have it out. So, and then when your order's ready, they bring it out to you. So yeah, so they do have waitresses there, but I just think traditionally you'd go up to the bar and order.
Okay, so going from there, I have another thing that I've heard
Yeah.
that you don't do tipping over there.
Well, okay, so that's kind of true. They don't tip like they don't tip like we tip. Now, because also they get paid a regular wage. They, like a lot of times in the United States, if you're a waitress or something, you might get paid a certain wage and make it up in tips. That doesn't happen here. You get this much an hour if you're not. So wages. So tips are great because they're extra. I always tip. I tip the guy who comes to my door to deliver. I tip at restaurants. I always tip, but that's because that's ingrained in me. Do you know what I mean? Because I've always tipped. What is it? LaDonna said, in Germany, you have to ask for flat water or you'll get seltzer water. Yeah, that's happened before. When I went to Germany, I was like, thank you. And yeah, you don't tip in Germany. Order my drink with no ice to get more drink. And that's the thing. A lot of people will order like, oh, just put a little bit of ice and more drink. Because it's like more, you're getting more drink. But yeah.
And the other thing I've also heard.
What have you heard?
You don't get refills over there.
Not true. Not true. You can. It depends on which restaurant you go. Not every restaurant will give you refills, but if you go to, I think the pub will. Well, no, the pub won't. The pub. It depends on the restaurant. Some pubs will give you free refills. Some pubs won't. If you go to something like Five Guys, you'll get free refills. A lot of American restaurants will give you free refills. It just depends on the restaurant. Not all restaurants do, and not all restaurants don't. So that's kind of like depends on where you go. Yeah, where did we go one time? And we went to this. Oh, what was it? It was a Mexican restaurant. I think it was Chipotle. We went to in Sheffield. Me, Dave, and some friends, and their son. And if it's a party of so many or more, they it's like is it gratuity? You have to pay gratuity, but there wasn't, and I tipped him anyway. Although he, because we were under that amount, but there was 5 of us, and he was such a good waiter. Oh my God, he was amazing. So I was quite happy to tip him. Yeah.
A lot of places now in the States, you pay it. It's part of your bill. It's right on there.
Even if it's just like 2 people?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's just according, but there are some restaurants that put your tip on there. There is no getting around it.
Oh, right.
Whereas I think, well, if you would pay a regular wage to your people.
Hello, Angela.
But a lot of people can make more in tips than they would.
Right, exactly. That's the thing. So it depends. Like again, this culture is not like tipping culture. If you're getting regular wage and people are giving you tips, heck yeah, But I feel like whether regardless of what you've made, regardless if you make a regular wage, if you're a good server, I'm gonna tip you. If you entertain me and we're there, not even entertain me, but like we're friendly and we're all there and bringing it all in and doing all the things, I'm gonna tip you. So that's good. So that was a couple of things. What was the other thing I had? Oh yeah. Obviously, British people don't make small talk with strangers. Is that true? I think it depends on the part of the country. You know what I mean? Like, I think down south, they're not as chitty chatty as they are. It's like the further north you go, the friendlier people get. Yeah, that's what I thought. It was usually a party of 6 before it's automatically included, LaDonna. That's what I thought about tips. But yeah, people here, people think that British people don't make small talk. They don't, but they do. I think, again, like I said, it depends on where you live. Down south, people aren't as, I lived down south for years and I barely spoke to my neighbors. Do you know what I mean? Here, when I moved up here from, which is the Midlands, in the middle of the country, people are so friendly. they make small talk with me. They chit chat with me. Do you know what I mean? Like the neighbor 2 doors down when we first moved in was like, oh, if your water or electric's not on, you can always come over here for a cup of tea, or if you need anything. The other neighbor, I mean, they were very friendly. Now, I didn't get that down south though. I did get it up here.
So I might be interested in living in the southern part.
Well, I mean, people aren't going to force a conversation on you. That they'll kind of like weed it out. Do you know what I mean? That like if someone went, "You all right?" and like they do, and you said yes, they would probably not further engage. But if someone said to you, "You all right?" and you said, "Yeah, I'm pretty good," and they'd go, "Oh, this weather," and you go, "Oh yeah," you know what I mean? So they will make small talk. It's just not as common. Down south than it is, like I said, the further north you go in the UK, the friendlier people. You go to Scotland, people are great. They're super friendly. What does Pat Robinson say? I guess that's true. They serve warm beer. So that's yeah. Beer is kind of, it's not warm. It's just not ice cold. Like that's lager. What you get, what you would call like your Coors and your Budweiser and your, you know, what's it called, Corona and all that. That's called lager here. And beer is like the dark ale. I think I had that the right way around. Yeah, I think I do. Yeah. So Bree has friends in Brighton, Daniel.
All right. Supposedly that's the gay capital of England.
Yes, it is.
That's what I've heard. I don't know. I don't live there.
It's
by the ocean.
It is by the ocean, and I've not been yet, so I need to go because
there we go. When I come, we're gonna go.
We're gonna go to Brighton. Road trip to Brighton. There you go. So, yeah, I think people are friendly. It just depends on the part of the country you're in. You know, you go to big cities, people, no matter where in the world you go, big cities, people are rushed around. You know, they're in a hurry. They're always in a hurry. You know, everybody's in a hurry. You come to little old sleepy Clay Cross, someone will probably strike up a conversation with you. Do you know what I mean? They're going to be like more chitty chatty. Like, I mean, people will talk to me all the time, you know. And I don't think, I mean, before I even speak, so it's not like my accent that gets them. They'll just be like, oh, so, you know, like when you're checking out or if you're just at the store looking at stuff, then I'll talk to them. But I mean, I find them nice around here. So that's kind of like a myth. I don't think they're as standoffish, the British, as people make them out to be. They have a really sarcastic sense of humor. Like this is, I said, like if people aren't taking the piss out of you, are they even your friend? You know, if your friends aren't winding you up, are they your friend? You know, because that's how they are here. They're very like, you know, take the mick out of each other or tease each other, and it's not nasty at all. It's like a form of friendship or like a form of endearment. It's like, you know, if I didn't like you, I wouldn't be making fun of you. Daniel knows.
She likes me a lot.
I do, but it's like, you know, because the British also take the piss out of themselves as well. So there's that. So all right, guys, we're at the top of the hour. I'm so glad
we're not done yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I have one more.
Oh, sure. Bring them on.
I also heard through the grapevine that you got pay to pee.
Depends on where it's at. Yeah, you do. You do. Like what? I mean, it's not like you have to get a loan out. Jesus, it's like, you know,
would
20p or 30p. You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, some places you do, like when you go to, is it King's Cross or no, Pancras? St. Pancras in train station. It's like 30, 20p, maybe 50p to pee. But here's the thing: it's like you also have clean bathrooms. So, you know, sometimes it pays to pay for peeing.
Lord, I'd have to have a whole change bag on me. Every 5 minutes I'd be walking in. Can I pee for free here?
Well, I mean, not now. This is a public toilet. This is not. You have to go to Tesco's and pay. You Tesco's has bathrooms. You can walk in and go there. They're not. But this is like if it's an actual public toilet. So if it's like it's put there, it's run by the council, because someone has to clean it. Yeah, they will charge you. So it's like, some places do charge for that. But like if you're walking into the pub or the Tesco or the restaurant, no. You could just, or the services, like when you're driving on the highway or motorway and you need to stop for gas, and there's like, they got like a gas station and a store and a restaurant and all that. No, you don't have to pay for that.
Okay.
It's privately owned. It's just usually things that are owned by the council or the city or whatever, you have to pay. So
Gotcha.
So yeah. So yes. We didn't even get to the VAT of it all, but that's okay. VAT is value added tax. Real quick, what it is that when I buy this pen and it's £2, the tax is already in the £2. So £2 tax included. That's value added tax. They used to charge here in some places 10 cents. Yeah, yeah. I mean, downtown where they live outside where they used to, yeah. I mean, you get what you pay for sometimes.
Well, I live in rural Nowheresville, so I'm not used to having to pay to pee. And I'm used to stinky toilets because
Yeah.
I mean, even going into Walmart, sometimes I'm like, who died in here?
Who had chili for lunch? Marianne, it's the same to poop as it is to pee. It's just that money that's to get into the door. That's just once you're in there, you can do whatever you want. I don't think it's extra. I don't think it's by weight or volume. Do you know what I
mean? Give it time. Give it time.
All right, guys, we're at the top of the hour, and we didn't want to keep you any longer than we have to. I know you guys got things you want to do, get on with your day. But we sure appreciate y'all coming by, hanging out, talking about all kinds of things, y'all. And I hope you enjoyed the chat. And remember, Daniel, if you're not following Tackyisme and I, which you should be, his link to his channel is in the description of this video. Please give us a thumbs up if you don't mind. And we will see you next week on Daniel's channel. Thank you so much, Daniel, for being on, for being you.
Oh, no. Thank you, Dolores, for being you.
All right, guys. We will see you next week. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
This thing. There we go.